A black waitress helped an elderly man every morning until his lawyers entered the restaurant accompanied by 4 bodyguards, looking specifically for her. The doorbell at Cafe Aurora rang at 8:47 a.m. 5 men in black suits entered the small restaurant. Kayla Santos, 29, was cleaning a table when she looked up. 4 huge security guards flanked a gray-haired gentleman carrying an expensive leather briefcase. "Are you Miss Kayla Santos?" asked the man, walking directly toward her. Kayla's heart raced. "My name is Dr. Hamilton, attorney for the Whitmore family. I need to speak with you about Mr. Robert Whitmore." Robert, the quiet old man at table 7 who had been coming to the cafe every day for 2 years. The 78-year-old man for whom she had developed an inexplicable affection. "Is he okay?" she managed to ask. "Mr. Whitmore passed away last night. He left very specific instructions about you." Kayla's legs buckled. Robert was dead. The old man she helped cut his toast because his hands trembled. "Who left a tip of exactly $2 every day? You need to come with us now to the office." Dr. Hamilton's office occupied 3 floors of a building in the city's financial center. In a meeting room waited Victoria Whitmore, 50, with cold beauty that comes from decades of privilege, her son Bradley, 28, and a young blonde woman. Victoria barely looked up when Kayla entered. Bradley examined her with barely concealed disgust. Dr. Hamilton opened a folder. "For the family. The mansion, summer homes, art collection valued at $12 million, and a $50 million trust fund." Bradley visibly relaxed. However, the Whitmore Holdings restaurant chain, including 47 establishments in 6 states and all commercial assets, are left in their entirety to Miss Kayla Santos. In addition, a $15 million operating fund under Miss Santos's complete control. The silence was deafening. Victoria turned pale. Bradley choked. "This is a mistake," Victoria said. "There is no mistake," Hamilton replied. "That's ridiculous." "She's a waitress," Bradley exploded. "I did know Robert every day for the last 2 years," Kayla said firmly. "You called him by his first name, as if you were friends." Victoria laughed harshly. "We were friends. A black waitress at a cheap cafe doesn't get $80 million by chance. You knew exactly what you were doing," Victoria said contemptuously. "Enough!" Dr. Hamilton slammed his hand on the table. "There is also a personal letter." Kayla read aloud. "My dear Kayla, for 2 years, you were the only person who treated me like a human being, not a bank account. You didn't know that I owned the restaurant chain where you worked. In the last months of my life, I pretended to need help cutting my toast to test whether your kindness was genuine. You never asked anything personal. When the young homeless man came into the cafe and you paid for his meal out of your own pocket, you didn't know I was watching. My family will inherit my personal wealth, but my businesses will go to someone who understands that feeding people is about dignity." "Kayla, you have a heart that this family lost long ago." Victoria stood abruptly. "We're going to contest this. We're going to prove she manipulated him." "Good luck," Dr. Hamilton said coldly. "Mr. Whitmore spent 3 months documenting every interaction. He hired private investigators. This will is bulletproof. You won't last a week in the business world." "We're going to destroy you," Victoria said with pure hatred. Kayla stood slowly. "You can try." The next weeks were chaos. The first meeting at headquarters was orchestrated humiliation. Bradley summoned all regional managers, 15 middle-aged white men in expensive suits. "Everyone meet our new owner," Bradley said with a venomous smile. "Kayla Santos, who comes to us from serving coffee." Low laughter followed. "I do have some observations," Kayla began. "I visited 7 restaurants. In 5, Black and Latino employees are in kitchens and cleaning, while service is mostly white. The menus are identical despite different demographics. Online reviews show complaints matching location demographics," one manager snorted. "Running restaurants isn't about social issues. It's about profit." "You're right, Mr. Peterson. And your numbers in the Southern District have fallen 23% in the last year. Coincidentally, where you dismissed older, experienced employees." Peterson turned pale. Kayla had found an ally in Linda Chun, the CFO for 12 years, systematically passed over for promotions. Linda showed Kayla how Bradley was sabotaging operations, transferring competent employees, canceling efficient supplier contracts, artificially increasing expenses. He thinks you'll give up in weeks, Linda explained. The plan is to create a crisis, then buy back for a fraction of value. Why are you helping me? Because Robert Whitmore hired me when no one else would give an Asian woman a chance. He believed in people others underestimated. Kayla met others Robert had quietly supported. Marcus Williams, Sophia Morales, James Park, all competent, all systematically sabotaged by the whites. That night, in Robert's old office, Kayla opened his safe. Inside, years of recordings documenting every questionable decision, every prejudiced comment. Reports on shell companies, offshore accounts, money laundering schemes, millions embezzled over years. Bradley's message arrived. Next week, meeting with investors interested in buying. They thought she was just a scared waitress. They had no idea she now had ammunition to destroy them. The investor meeting came. Bradley announced, "Allow me to introduce Kayla Santos. As you can see, she's overwhelmed." Kayla distributed documents. "Did you know that $2.3 million has disappeared from reports? Transfers to offshore accounts, overpriced contracts with shell companies, all signed by Bradley Whitmore." Dr. Hamilton entered carrying evidence. Recordings played. Bradley's voice. "I need sales to look terrible. When the waitress realizes she's in the red, she'll want to sell quickly." More recordings revealed Victoria instructing accountants to manipulate reports, explicitly racist conversations, bribing suppliers to deliver low-quality products. "You were sabotaging your own company to force a fraudulent sale," an investor murmured. "That's out of context," Bradley sweated. Security video showed. Bradley destroying documents. "Burn everything. The little black girl can't find out the real numbers. You recorded private conversations." "That's illegal," Victoria exploded. "All recordings were made by Robert Whitmore on his private property," Dr. Hamilton interjected. The lead investor stood. "Gentlemen, we have no interest in a company involved in fraud." "I am no longer interested in selling," Kayla smiled. "But I'm buying your share of the inheritance. $5 million for each share." "Our inheritance is worth $50 million, Victoria exclaimed. "Was worth," Dr. Hamilton corrected. "With criminal proceedings, federal investigation, and public exposure happening tomorrow morning. I've delivered copies to the FBI, IRS, and New York Times," Kayla added. "You can't do this to us," Bradley shouted. "Family doesn't try to destroy the patriarch's company. Family doesn't steal. And family certainly doesn't use expressions like little black girl," Kayla replied. "No one will accept a person like you running a serious company," Victoria spat. "You're right, Victoria. I don't belong in your world. I belong where character matters more than pedigree, where competence is worth more than connections. That's exactly why I'm going to thrive where you failed." The lead investor extended his hand. "Miss Santos, it would be an honor to do business with someone of your integrity." Victoria turned at the door. "This won't last. You're going to fail." Kayla smiled serenely. "Victoria, you underestimated me so much that you gave me time to show what I'm really capable of. Thank you for that." 6 months later, Kayla was on Forbes magazine as Breakthrough Businesswoman of the Year. Whitmore Holdings had become the most profitable restaurant chain with 23 new locations and a nationally copied diversity program. Bradley worked as a sales manager at a department store. Victoria was selling insurance, her mansion mortgaged to pay lawyers. At the grand opening downtown, Kayla cut the ribbon next to Robert's framed photo. "Thank you for teaching me that kindness is power," she whispered. Marcus, now regional director, smiled. He knew how to pick people. The best revenge is not to destroy those who underestimate you. It's to build something so great that they spend the rest of their lives wondering how they could have been so blind.